Today is Thursday, Astavakra day, and looking at the number of verses left, so today and maybe next Thursday. Okay. And the last time I remember Raj mentioned that after we finish a book, we should have a little discussion, a summary. So, so next week, be prepared. Okay, you can talk about it, whatever you have learned. What do you think good or not so good about this scripture? So you can do a little homework on that. Okay.
Neeru
So
also had a summary
yeah,
prepared.
Neeru has a summary prepared. She'll be talking about that. But anybody else also will have plenty of time if somebody else wants to talk about it. Okay. So, and then a week after that, we'll start Avadhut Gita. Okay. So let's start with the Vedic peace prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha, Tatsavitra Vareneyam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat, Asto Ma Satgamya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamya. Om Sehna Bhavatu, Sehna Bhunaktu, Saviryam Karvavahi, Tejasvi Navadhitamastu, Ma Vidvi Shavahi. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. So we are on the last chapter of this great book, and we ended our last week's class with verse number 3. And in this chapter, King Janak, after having the experience, the realization of the self, he's talking from his own experience. So he says, where is knowledge? Where is ignorance? Where is I? Where is this? Where is mine? Where is bondage? And where is liberation? Where is an attribute to the essential nature of my infinite self? No roop, roopita. That means that the self doesn't have any roop. It's a formless. Okay. So this is what that's where we left our class last week on Thursday. So now further he is explaining in verse number 4. क्व प्रारब्धानि कर्माणि जीवन मुक्ति अपि क्व वा क्व तत् विदेह कैवल्यम निर्विशेषस्य सर्वदा. Again, kava means where? Prarabdhani. Prarabdha. Okay, that is like the prarabdha karmas he is talking about. Prarabdha karmani. Jivan mukti, liberation of in life. Api means even. Kva va, where and all. Tat means that. Videha kavalyam, liberation at death. Nirvisheshasya, undifferentiated. Sarvada means ever. Where are the prarabdha karmas? And I'm sure most of you or all of you are familiar with this prarabdha karmas. We are born with the prarabdha karmas. Because of the prarabdha karmas, we have taken this time in this embodiment, we have come. Prarabdha karma. Okay, so it's like a part of the storage house. See, like a big storage house, handful of karmas from the storage house we brought with us. That's a prarabdha karma. Okay, so where are the prarabdha karmas? Where is liberation in life? And where is even liberation at death for me? The ever undifferentiated. So this shows the karmas, they are not have any effect on the real us, the Atma, the self. So where are the karmas? Where are they stored? They are stored in our subtle body, which is called Chitta. And I'm not the Chitta. I am the self. So King Janak, he realizes this, all of this is not me. Because we know that actions, they have their reactions. Good actions have good vasanas in personality, but I am not the personality. Okay, so good vasanas, they create good thoughts. And they will definitely provide a mental peace and inner joy, but that's also in the mind. And I am not the mind. So the same way, evil actions, they will create evil vasanas, which would generate mental restlessness. And consequence of that is inner sorrow. So this he has been explaining to us throughout. So in these activities of his body, he's not at all involved to drive home this idea, the functions of the perfect person. He says, I am that Atma, which doesn't have any of that. Liberated from the state of selfhood. And he is even denying the prarabdha karma, even though he has a body. But he says, I know I'm not the body. See, who is the doer of the activities? Doer of the activities is the ego. And the reactions must come to the ego. But when the ego has been sublimated, it's gone. What is remaining is the self only. Okay? So it's hard to understand for intellectually from our point of view. But this is where King Janak is with his progress on the path of spirituality and ultimately experience of it, realization of it. So we cannot say that we don't have any karmas. We cannot escape karmas. We cannot escape the reaction from the karmas because we have not let go of our ego yet. Actions are undertaken by the ego, and the reactions are experienced by the same ego. But in a person, when the ego has been transcended, the law of action and reaction must cease for him. It's almost like a criminal died. A deceased criminal, even though there are warrant against him to arrest him, how can you arrest him? He's dead. So the same way, the ego is gone. Our file is closed. So that's why Janak is confident that he has no prarabdha. He is now universal, the undifferentiated. That's what undifferentiated means, universal. The one who is free from all particulars, like no differentiation, undifferentiated, nirvishesh. So he recognizes, he says, what is liberation and what is bondage? He is the self, ever perfect, never contaminated. So this liberation word is not for the Atma actually. Atma is ever liberated. Liberation is, it is with the ego, with the mind, with the intellect. Okay, with all these upadhis. Atma is always free. The problem is that we never identify ourselves with the Atma. And but Janak over here, he says, this is what I am. Where is liberation? Where are the prarabdha karmas? Then he says, Kva karta, kva chava bhogta, nishkriyam, sufurnam, kva va, kva aprokshamam phalam, va kva ni swabhavasya me sada. Karta, doer, bhogta, enjoyer. Nishkriyam, cessation of activities, nishkriya. Sufurnam, rising up of the thoughts. Aproksham, direct knowledge. Ni swabhavasya, devoid of natural attributes. Me means for me, sada means ever. Where is the doer or the enjoyer? See, again, the doer and both enjoyer, there's an ego. Ego enjoys. Where is the cessation of thoughts or the rising of thoughts? Nishkriyam and Safurnam. Where is direct knowledge or reflected knowledge? Phalam. Phalam is for the reflected knowledge. See, there's a direct knowledge, then there's a reflected knowledge. For me, who am ever devoid of natural attributes. See, natural attributes of a human being is that he is prompted always by his ego. That is natural for us. And egocentric desires, that's natural. So he says, I'm niswavasya, devoid of the natural attributes. That means no desires. See, because majority of us, we have the irresistible fascination for the sense gratification. And that's where the desires come from. Because we live a life of duality. Happiness, sorrowness, day, night, life, death. We are constantly being tossed between the likes and the dislikes. So, but he says, Nisvavasya, that's me. These are natural attributes which human beings have. I don't have that anymore. So, Nisvabhav, or another Sanskrit term for this is Swabhav Rahit. So, Nisvabhav or Swabhav Rahit. It's like a devoid of his natural attributes. That's why he is being called a liberated in life, freed from the ego. When the ego is no more functioning in the heart, there cannot be in that individual the sense of doership or enjoyership. That's what happens. To one who has transcended the mind. See, this happens when we transcend the mind, because all of this is happening in the mind. But when we learn how to transcend the mind, then you are living in the self, where there's no thought. Because thought cannot be in the self. Thoughts are only in the mind, or the rising of the thought. See, in every school of philosophy, there's an elaborate theory of how a person can gain knowledge. And knowledge is gained through the mind. So mind, through the sense organs, flows out to the place where the object is. And there the mind gets itself molded into the shape of the object. And this is what the Sufurnam is. So he says, I am beyond that. There's no Sufurna anymore. There's no rising of any thoughts, because I am not that. Okay, there's no ripple of disturbance created in the mind. Urmila is asking about the 6 philosophies. Yes, most probably Urmil next Wednesday I'll talk about 6 philosophies. Okay. So the ripple of disturbance created in the mind, if there's a knowledge in there, if you're conscious about it, then definitely there's a illumination of the light also for a student. So with that illumination of the light, you move up. But over here, King Janak says, I am already there. I don't need any kind of a outer light or outer stimulation or any kind of a knowledge. I am in one with that source of the knowledge. So knowledge of the object reaches our mind as a disturbance actually, which is called vritti, which glows in the light of consciousness. So knowledge of the object is called as the final result, phal. So that's where he got these two terms over here. So he says, kva karta kva ch bhogta nishkriyam, and then kva aproksham phalam va kva. Okay, so direct knowledge. So he says, a final result is the reflected knowledge. So as contrast to this reflected knowledge, which we learn from the outer field, he says direct knowledge, aproksh gyan. Aproksh gyan is the experience of the objectless consciousness. So a person who has realized the self lives in the self as the self. So in its non-dual infinitude, there is no objects other than himself. So he says non-dual, there's only one. And that's what Janak is feeling. So that's why he said aproksh gyan. The man of realization will not have any reflected knowledge. It's almost like if we have a bucket of water and we are looking at the sun in the reflection of the water. That is the phal. But when we can look at the sun itself, that is a aproksh gyan. We don't have to look at the reflection. Because otherwise, if we keep looking at the reflection, somebody can throw the water away and we don't have the reflection anymore. You will say, my sun is gone. Okay, so who are struggling in the confusion of the reflected knowledge must strive hard to gain direct knowledge. When you have a direct knowledge, sun is up there, it's just a reflection. Somebody can trip over, throw the water away, do whatever they want to, sun is not gone. Because it becomes a personal experience of the objectless pure consciousness. So the liberated in life has become the consciousness infinite, the self. Okay, so he says, I don't need any direct knowledge either. Where is the direct knowledge for me? So the self-realized master is no more human. He has become God. Okay, universal self. Brahma. There's no other way of defining him. Kva loka, kva mumukshu, va kva yogi, jnanvan kva va, kva badha, kva chava muktaha, swarup rupe, aham advaya. Loka, world. Mumukshu, aspirant for liberation. Jnanvan, man of realization. Badha, the bound person. Muktaha, liberated person. Swarup rupe aham advaya. For me, who am non-dual in nature. So where is the world? Where is the seeker after liberation? Where is the man of contemplation? And where is the man of realization? Where is the bound person and where is the liberated person for me, who am non-dual by nature? So as an awakened person, he realizes that's what he's talking about. He says, I am non-dual by nature. What does it mean? There's only me everywhere. There are not two. Me everywhere. Wherever I see, it's me. Oneness. It's not oneness with somebody. It's only oneness. There's no two anyway. I am non-dual by nature. And this non-duality, no other concept of seeker, seeking, and sought can ever exist. Because if it's non-dual, it's only one. What is there to seek? Because seeking is when you see something else. And there is a seeker Seeing and sought, these three things, they come only when there's more than one. If it's only one, what is there to seek and who is seeking it? So this is what he's experiencing. Okay. So it's an intuitive experience of the universal self, where the subject, object, perceptions, they have merged. The world, the seeker, the person in meditation, a person of realization, the bound person, the liberated person, etc., they have no significance. All efforts, all aspirations, they are totally, totally nullified in this grand experience of the universal self, one without a second. So this is the experience. This is not a philosophy. This is nothing we can debate about. This is the experience. Kva srishti, kva cha sanhara, kva sadhyam, kva cha sadhanam, kva sadhaka, kva siddhi, va aham advaya swa swarupe hai. Srishti, creation. Sanhara, destruction. Sadhyam, the end, the goal. Sadhya means the goal. Sadhanam is the means. Sadhak is the seeker. Siddhi is the accomplishment. So don't get confused with all these terms. They're very simple actually if you look at it. Srishti, Sanhara, Sadhyam, Sadhanam, Sadhak, Siddhi. Aham is I, Advaya, non-dual. Swaswarupe, for me, by nature. So aham advaya swaswarupe, for me who am non-dual by nature. So by nature we are non-dual, but we have forgotten that. So he says, where is creation? And where is destruction? There's no creation, there's no destruction. Where is the end and where is the means? End means the goal. Sadhyam, where is the end? Where do I need to go? See, a person who gets mukta, where does that person go? It's not that there's a planet up there for people who are mukta people. No. Mukt person is everywhere. That's how you can connect with the Lord Krishna in your home also, in the temple also, in your heart also, in the book also. Celebrated everywhere. Yes, Jyoti.
Nishi has a question.
Yes, Nishi.
First, just trying to really comprehend this state of being of such a person. If you can give some examples, you're saying he's living like, it's understandable that, when things happen in the life of a person and they accept, surrender, don't react. But he's saying these things don't even kind of happen.
Yeah.
There's no duality. Is there no day and night for this person? Is there no cold?
There is a day and night out there, but he does not get fluctuated by day and night at all, because he is constantly absorbed in the Atma.
But he is come in human form. Is this really something one has to aspire to? Is this such a great way of life to live like that, not feel anything at all?
Well, that's why as a human being we have been given the freedom.
I mean, if he's in this body and he's not even feeling hot or cold, then he may not even dress like that appropriately.
He may dress appropriately, but without any fluctuation in the mind.
So it's just the mind stays even.
Mind stays even, and nothing good or bad, whether it's a sunshine or whether it's a night, still peaceful.
So somebody dies, somebody's born, he doesn't care.
Yes. See, somebody dies, somebody born, if it's his duty to do something about it, he will do, but without any change in his mind, without calling it bad or good. You remember in Bhagavad Gita, what did Lord Krishna tell Arjuna? Wise do not grieve. Okay, because normally we say grieving period, this and that. Those are like a vyavharik things for people like us. But this kind of a person has really risen above that.
It seems so extreme, even to live as a householder, but not feel all the things that, make you do your duty.
Yeah, duty Janak is doing. But I am doing the duty that
That is understandable.
that is gone.
That is understandable that he knows he's not the doer. He's not,
Yes.
he recognizes his real self to be the Atma. That I understand. But bilkul hi kuch nahi feel karna is so strange.
Okay, all right, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, we all have, this is the freedom we have,
Right.
right? But this is the epitome of the sadhana. And it doesn't happen by wishing or willing. This is the outcome of the sadhana, because this is what Atma is. It's one, it's everywhere.
Spontaneous.
It's a process, just a process.
It's a sadhana. It's a sadhana.
Thank you.
Yeah. So he says, where is creation? Where is destruction? Where is the end? Doesn't have to achieve an end. When you are already, you have reached the goal, then where is the end? And where is the means? Where is the seeker? And where is the accomplishment for me? Abiding in my own dual nature, non-dual nature. Creation and destruction are concepts of the mind, which projects in its imagination the world of objects and withdraws those projections when the perceived world is absorbed. See, this is what's happening during our sleep also. We all sleep every night. So it's like at our own level, we are experiencing it. But then there's a bigger, macrocosmically, this is a bigger dream. Okay, and pralya is the sleep. So everything is created, then pralya. See, ego is the one which really gets agitated because of the desires. And it starts projecting the world outside, needs to experience. And when the mind is withdrawn from the activities, sometimes every day it's in sleep, but especially in samadhi, everything gets dissolved. And this is where he's talking about, from the state of samadhi. He has realized the self, which is one without a second. He has transcended his mind. To him, where is the creation then? Because there's no mind. The mind is the one which is creating. So if there's no creation, where is the withdrawal? And from this state of being, he says there is no means of realization, sadhana, and there's no end. See, these are the verses when they are written like this. That's why these scriptures, they are not being studied by the beginners or even society at large. Because when they look at it, where is the sadhana? They say there's no need to do sadhana. Okay, this is very hard to understand, these verses, because these verses, they are altogether negating the pluralistic concepts, which are very natural for human mind. See, just like Nishi said, why, what is the fun in living then? If there's no end goal. See, man of realization or perfection is no more a sadhak. He doesn't have anything to accomplish because he is everything. He has become the very self, which is the substratum of all the accomplishments. There is another great scripture which talks about this. Na nirodho, na cha utpatti, na badho, na cha sadhaka. Na mamukshur, na vamuktaha, ityeshaha paramarthata. There is neither dissolution nor creation, neither anyone in bondage, nor any aspirant for wisdom. Neither can there be any seeker for liberation, nor any liberated as such. This alone is the supreme truth. So when you have seen this truth, then you can say this, because this is your experience. This is the experience of these great rishis. Not for early students like us. We are still on the initial steps of the ladder. Okay, but doing the sadhana, ultimately, when we reach there, then it will be clear to us, more clear to us. Right now, we are just only reading somebody else's experience. That's what we are doing. Kva parmataha, parmanam, vakva, parmeyam, kvacha parmaha, kva kinchit, kva na kinchit, va sarvada vimalasya me. Pramataha, knower. Parmanam, the means to knowledge. Prameyam, the object of knowledge. Prama, the objective knowledge. Okay, again, these are technical terms over here. Kva means where, kinchit, something. Na kinchit, nothing. Va means or, sarvada, ever. Vi malasya, pure. See, mal means some kind of a flaw. Vi mal means pure. Me means for me. Because there cannot be, by definition, cannot be any mal, any flaw in the Atma. See, ordinarily, we just use the word that this person has a pure Atma, good Atma, nice Atma. Technically, that's wrong. Atma can never be dirty. If it cannot be dirty, it's the same. Everywhere, it's the same. Vimalasya. Where is the knower and where is the means to knowledge? Where is the object of knowledge and where is the objective knowledge? Where is anything and where is nothing for me, who am pure, ever pure? See, self is declared as ever pure. Okay, again, because it's not contaminated by illusory misapprehensions. Okay? Or this delusory world of experiences. That is only for the mind and the intellect. So the misapprehension of the reality is caused by the thoughts in the intellect, and the mind gets agitated. Sometimes by the rajas, or maybe tamas also. But Atma, the self, is considered as a gunatit, ever pure, beyond the gunas. So there's neither rajas nor tamas. There's no ignorance of reality, pure consciousness, ever unconditioned by the equipments of experiences. Earlier we learned the word upadhi, upadhi rahit. Upadhi means the equipments, upadhi rahit. Okay. So the knower ego, pramata, its means to knowledge, parmanam, the objects of knowledge, pramaya, and the final results, objective knowledge, prama. All these are negated in the objectless consciousness, ever non-dual, immutable. Okay, so these are all at the level of the sadhana. But once we have experience, none of this matter. Now let's look at next one. Kva vikshepaha, kva cha ekagriyam, kva nirbodha, kva mudtaha, kva harshaha, kva vishadaha, va sarvada nishkriyasya me. Vikshep is a distraction. You remember three terms? Mal, vikshep, avarna. Always remember these three terms. Mal is the flaw. Most of the time it's at a physical level. Vikshep is the distraction at the mental level. Avarna is it's like a film over our self. Okay, it's like a covering. We need to remove the covering also. We need to take care of the distractions also. We need to get rid of the flaws also. Okay, so this is verse number 9. So vikshep is the distraction. Ekagriyam, concentration. Nirbodha, sure knowledge. Mudta, delusion. Harshaha, joy. Vishadaha, sorrow. Sarvada, ever. Nishkriyasya, actionless. Me means for me. Where is distraction and where is concentration? Where is sure knowledge and where is delusion? Where is joy and where is sorrow for me, who am ever the actionless? See, when the mind is being tossed about, constantly gushing out into the world of sense objects, seeking fulfillments, or the sense gratifications, sure, all this is there. We are distracted. We need to concentrate. We don't want to stay deluded. We want to have a right knowledge. We don't want to be sorrow. We don't want any sorrow. We want only happiness. But a person who is one with that, whether you want to call it Brahm or God or truth, where is all this? It doesn't even exist. Okay? Because even now, if we are fully concentrated, what is the use of even thinking that I'm distracted? You are concentrated. Since there's no distraction in his state of transcendence, he has realized the self. He is living ever established in the self. Where is for him the need for concentration? See, when the intellect is veiled with the tamas, then mind is restless, definitely. It starts to imagine things. When we are living as a limited person, crushed entity we are, a slave to our own desires and thoughts or happenings around, where we have self-created tragedy for ourselves. We definitely need to concentrate also. We need a sure knowledge also. Sure, when we are tossing around. But this person who has dropped everything out, where is all this? He has no more any delusions. Since he has no false knowledge, nor wrong values, he doesn't need any true knowledge. Okay? He is fully established in that. So that's why Astavakra is very poetically giving us, through Janak though, this biography. So when the mind and the intellect are transcended, the sense of ego gets automatically annihilated. See, actually, it's the vanity of the enjoyership which keeps us away from this state of perfectionhood, if you want to call it, like a jivan mukta. If we can drop all that, then establish in the self, we are all what he's talking about. So it's the experience of the transcendental reality of the self, which is one without a second, all pervading, all immutable. Then there cannot be any action, because normally, why do we do the actions? See, when he used the word nishkriya, no action. That doesn't mean he's not doing it, but he knows that it's only the Prakriti doing it, not the Atma. Atma never does anything. So from that point, he is saying that nishkriyasya. It's the same thing as Karam Sannyasi in Bhagavad Gita. You remember in chapter 5, Karam Sannyas Yoga? The yogi, it doesn't mean that he is not doing the actions, but he doesn't identify himself with the body or the other upadhis. While doing everything, still he is actionless because he identifies himself with the Atma. Okay? And Atma is the real source of all the joy, bliss. Okay, so Janakji is here exclaiming that I am the actionless and infinite self. This is what I am. So this actionless, we should not take it like he's tamasic, he doesn't do anything. Body is doing it. It's a job of the body, and I'm not the body. Okay, so 11:15, we have a few more verses left, so we'll just finish this chapter next week, and then we'll chapter, and not only the chapter, the book also. So now let's do the Shanti part, and Kamala wanted to sing a bhajan, and after the bhajan we can have some discussion. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Visheshyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Okay.